I'm very excited to hold this box in my hands. I've never had a pair of boots from Canada before, so this is the first time for everything category. G'day, welcome back to Bootlosophy, and if we haven't met, my name is Tech. I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands that I'm filming on, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation. Now, I'm very excited because this is my very first pair of Canadian boots. It's a company called, or brand called Hanker Boots out of Montreal. Their boots are made in India though, and if you've seen my reviews of the other made in India boots like the Fred Grandson, you know that there's a long history of welted footwear in India. So I'm going to unbox these and let's take a look and go through my first impressions before I bring you a full review in a few months' time. So this is from Hanker Boots. This is their boot style called the Nomad. I've already taken out of the postage box obviously, and this is the boot box that they come in. So you get a shoehorn with the brand on it. Spare pair of laces, I'm hoping they're a spare pair. Very nice boot bag, 2 of them. Okay, very nice. I think these are like flannel boot bags. Nice color really, lovely. It's packed really nicely under this sort of tissue paper. And more tissue paper. And if you take out one boot, right here. So that's one boot. This is the Nomad, plain toe, nice feeling leather, all eyelet construction, a Vibram wedge sole. It actually looks and feels very nice. Now, sizing, they only have full sizes, and let me look at my notes. They have sizes from 8 to 13 with no half sizes. So because I'm sort of true to size 8.5, they suggested that I go up to a 9. Let me just remove that padding. So again, you know, I think that's a really nice profile, don't you? I'm hoping it fits on a size 9. Just looking at my notes, let me see. Waterproof oil pull-up leather. It's lined on the inside up the shaft, right? The tongue is lined. The tongue is ungusseted. Goodyear welt construction, which if you know your Indian construction boots, a lot of Northampton brands will make their second lines out of India. And Craft and Glory, which I've already reviewed, is an Indian brand that makes really good quality welted boots out of buffalo, Eastern Asian buffalo. They use a cork filler and do have a steel shank. And I've often wondered why wedge sole boots have a steel shank, but that's good. It has a cork filler and a steel shank. The insole is leather. The welt is leather, and the midsole, you can just see that midsole there, I think. That is leather before we get on to the Vibram wedge sole. Yeah, look, nice little sock liner. And just taking a look at the quality of the stitching, that is an extremely even Goodyear welted stitch on the outside. Double stitching in the heel counter cover, 2-piece backstay with a little dimple. Some boots don't have that. It's single stitching where there's not a great deal of stress, and it's double stitching where there is, with a sort of reinforced stitching there. But you can see the stitching from first impressions is very consistent, very clean. Interesting last. I would suggest that this is more of a European last with a longer almond-shaped toe, rather than an American one, which is often wider and rounder. Or if they have an almond-shaped toe, it's rounder and then narrows to an almond much faster. So this says, I think, Indian Raj, colonialism, experience of British footwear. So I think the last sort of goes towards the European English. It actually feels, you know, it's not a heavy boot, but I wouldn't say it's a light boot. And with the wedge sole, I think it surprises me that it's lighter than I think it is. The leather looks pretty good. They say it's an oiled pull-up leather. So there is a little bit of pull-up effect, not a great deal. And it's thick. It has this rolled edge to the collar. And because it's lined with leather, it's, what would you say? I reckon that's about 3 mils thick, including the lining, possibly even going up to 4 mils thick. So that's quite a heavy makeup on the uppers. Let's take a look at the next one. They're very carefully wrapped. And there's enough paper stuffing in there to recreate a broadsheet newspaper. And again, very nicely made. The leather looks good. I suspect this will scuff. Yeah, because it's oil tan pull-up, it scuffs a little bit. And it should self-seal. But nothing a little conditioner won't do to just replenish the oils that you might have scratched off. It feels solid. Again, the stitching is precise, very even. You know, along the rows, very nice. The eyelets are backed, so that should be reasonably secure, I think. This leather actually feels quite tough, so I think there'll be a bit of requirement for a good break in there. All right, let me try these on feet and then we'll talk about the brand. So like I said, their sizes are straight sizes from 8 to I think it was 13 with no half sizes. And because I'm a US 8.5 true to size, they suggested I go up to a 9, and I think that was the right choice. Yep, that fits quite nicely. Not having speed hooks means just a little bit of fiddling around with laces. Yeah, the last is quite a slim last. I think if I'd taken an 8, not only would the length have been a little too short, but 100% the last would have been too narrow. Let's go with this one. This leather is pretty stiff, so it will need a little bit of breaking in, I think. I was thinking of wearing these up to Darwin with me because I'm going up there next week. But I don't think this is supple enough for me to chance wearing new boots out for a week, walking around when I really should be breaking them in more gently. So, how's the fit? Okay, I'm 8.5 on the US Brannock device. On most US heritage boots like the Iron Ranger, like Parkhurst, like Grant Stone, like Truman, like White's, I take an 8D, so I size a half down. In this case, there are no, they recommend that you go true to size, by the way. In this case, there is no 8.5, so I've taken 9, and I think this is the right fit. The length is definitely right. Right, so I've got a thumb's width before I get to the end of the boot, which is what you should try and aim for. There's enough volume that I don't feel it's been pressed down on. I'll tell you where I think I'm going to be sore if I wear this for a whole day is out here, because it is quite narrow last. So I think the balls of my feet, where I'm D width verging on E width, and also I have a slightly higher instep. I think that's where I might meet some trouble. Okay. Now these are called the Nomad boots. They're in an oil tan leather with the wedge sole. I do like the color. According to their website, they say Nomad boots with a Vibram sole bring an edgy flair to your casual style. And I'll go with that. It's quite stylish. The last shape, once I break it in and it doesn't feel as stiff, is I think going to be very stylish with that sharp look. It's quite a high boot. I think it's a real 6 inches from the top of the heel there, whereas most 6-inch service boots are around 5.5. As I said, the brand is called Hanker, Hanker, and I'll put a link to their website below. It's a non-affiliate link. They have Chukka boots, Chelsea boots, and these boots, Nomads, with the wedge sole as well as with regular heels and I think a commando sole. These sell for $213 US, which isn't bad really. That's sort of not too far away from entry-level Thursday boots. They're made in India. Now, you know my philosophy, geography does not make quality, and in fact, Indian Goodyear welted factories have been making shoes since the 1800s, so don't get me started about how good they are in quality, really. Yeah, look, I like them. I like the shape. I'm nervous because I think the last is going to need some stretching at the outside knuckle of my foot there, but we shall see. I'll wear these, break them in, and I'll bring them to you in a month or so for a full review, and we'll see what I think about them. Okay, let's wrap up. So there you go. First impressions, I think, are surprisingly quite good. I have to say, when I had a look at them, at just over $200 US, I'm thinking, you know, lighter leathers maybe. I'm thinking maybe the stitching might be a little awry here and there. When I took a look at these, and I'll grant you that the leather is not prime, you know, oil tanned Horween or Seidel or whatever it is. I don't know where this tannery comes from, potentially India possibly, but it's not a bad leather. It has a smooth dress shoe feel to it. The hand, I think it's called, is a smooth sort of what you'd see in dress shoes. But combined with the lining, it is thick, it is not shaky, you know, it won't collapse. And I suspect, I hope, that with break-in it gets more supple and more comfortable, because at the moment it is quite stiff. So that's impressive. I am very impressed by the consistency of the stitching, both on the uppers as well as on the Goodyear welt. It is Goodyear welted, so I'm impressed by that. It uses a Vibram, a genuine Vibram wedge sole. I'm impressed by the materials. Leather insole, leather midsole, so that's very impressive. I don't know what the heel counter is, but it's not hugely firm, so it might be leather. The toe shaping, the toe puff, again, I don't know what it is, but again, it doesn't feel like celastic, which is quite plastic. This is supple, so I think it possibly is leather. If it is, well done. Criticism, I wish they would like half gusset the tongue. I don't like the tongues which are ungusset for two reasons. One is on my right foot they do tend to slip, but it's about training your tongue while you wear it for the first time. And the second reason is that dust will get in, and it's obviously not as waterproof because water could get in where the tongue isn't gusseted. Other than that, I just don't have criticism. For $213 US, I really think this is quite good value. The last shape may not appeal to an American audience. I think it certainly will appeal to a European, a UK, an Australian, and possibly an Asian audience, because this sort of last shape in a shoe is the sort of thing that we would have grown up with as footwear. Yeah, I'm mighty impressed. I surprised myself by being how impressed I am. So there you have it. I will wear these. I will break them in, and I think it's going to be hard. So I'll report that to you, and then I'll bring them to you in a few months' time. I said 1 or 2 months when I was doing the try-on, but I think it's going to be a bit longer than that because I've got a series of videos scheduled, sized up. But I'll bring them to you. I am going to try and wear them this weekend, and if I feel that I can on Tuesday, which is 4 days away, if I feel that I can take them on a field trip when I go away to Darwin for 5 days, I'll wear them. But I don't think I will, because I don't want to go to Darwin with a pair of boots that'd be painful to wear in all day. So I think I'll need to break them in when I'm at home, and then I'll bring them back to you. All right, folks, so usual YouTubers comment. Please click on like, please click on subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be bringing you more boot reviews every week, so stay tuned, come back, and I'll see you later.